This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover, the easiest way to buy domain names and do more with them. Get 10% off today by visiting hover.com/gadgettv.
Hi, this is Andrew moore-crispin for Gadget TV on butterscotch.com, and today we're taking a look at the tyPad Bluetooth keyboard for iPad. It is, as the name suggests, a Bluetooth keyboard for your iPad, and you can get it for about $100, which is really on the less expensive end of the spectrum for these Bluetooth keyboards we've seen coming out recently. It is a leatherette case, and you can see here that it does add quite significantly to the thickness of your iPad. The keyboard's actually down here. We can see the iPad here. We do have access to all of our ports, microphone, speakers, all that stuff on the other side of the device. But you do notice that it adds really quite significantly to the thickness of your iPad, and you might want to ask yourself why you didn't just get a netbook or perhaps a MacBook Air or even a small laptop for the size and weight of this whole package when you put it together. But that aside, so you can see the rubberized keys protect the screen of our iPad, which is right here. And we also can flip the iPad out like this. You see this part here will lock into a little channel that's down here and hold our iPad up pretty securely. So now we'll go through the pairing process, which is pretty simple. You'll only have to go through this once. We'll go into settings, Bluetooth devices here. So we'll need to turn on the keyboard with the little power switch that's down here. Hit the connect button. And now we'll see it turn up in the list of available Bluetooth devices. Tap on it here, and we're asked to input a PIN code directly into the keyboard. So we'll just type that in, 9275, and hit enter. And now our device is paired. We're able to just go out and use it, type emails, create notes, and all that kind of stuff. Now across the top here, we have some function keys. They'll function as regular function keys on a connected computer, a MacBook, anything like that. But on the iPad, they have specific uses. In this case, we can bring up an on-screen keyboard here. At any time, we can hit this button to go back to the home screen, which we'll do right now. We can also turn the volume up and down, mute the volume like this. And if we're on our iPod application, we can use the shuttle controls here to play and pause our music, skip tracks. We have this dedicated spotlight button here. We can go into spotlight search. And anytime we're in a text field, like the spotlight search, we can press this button to bring up the on-screen keyboard. Now this is handy if you need to do some extra punctuation that's not actually covered off on the hardware keyboard here. We can actually get into any number of symbols that obviously they're not going to have room to actually put on a keyboard like this. Go home here. Now if we go into notes, we can test out how this thing works. I found it to be pretty good. I have read reports online that this thing is really a dog. I mean, it is leatherette, really not kind of the most attractive thing in the world, but I found the keys, the actual keyboard, which is arguably the most important part of a package like this, to be quite responsive. Only issues I've had is with a couple of different punctuation marks are not exactly where you'd expect them to be, and also this right-hand shift key. I'd much rather, if that was, I'd actually personally rather let go of the cursor keys and actually have a bigger shift key, perhaps bring the apostrophe up to this line. If you're a touch typist, perhaps not the ideal keyboard for you. I found the actual QWERTY board to be quite usable for touch typing. However, with the apostrophe down here, it makes you basically break your concentration and have to look down at the keyboard to figure out exactly where this apostrophe is, or if you're doing a double quote as you're typing. Now the show notes for this episode that you'll see on butterscotch.com have all been typed with the tyPad, and as I say in there, it was reasonably easy to do, not that much slower than if I were just using my laptop. The only issue I had was really in coding some of the HTML, just given the way the punctuation works here. But you can see here, I'll just start typing. And you can see it's obviously just like any other Bluetooth keyboard, as you'd expect, instant response. I'll say the tyPad is not too bad. Actually, if I was in the market for a wireless Bluetooth keyboard, it is definitely something I'd consider. I think I might actually personally invest the extra money, probably 30, 40 bucks, in one with a removable keyboard here. That way, if I decide to take my iPad out, I don't really want to take the keyboard with me. I have the option of leaving it at home and lightening the load overall. So that's a quick look at the tyPad Bluetooth keyboard for iPad. For Gadget TV, I'm Andrew moore-crispin. For more sweet stuff, visit butterscotch.com.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover, the easiest way to buy domain names and do more with them. Get 10% off today by visiting hover.com/gadgettv.